Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're actually going to be looking at the Tundra. Turns out she needs a little bit of attention. Went out this morning, go get some breakfast. It's a little cooler out, upper 40s, low 50s. I mean, it's not Buffalo, New York cold, but for Atlanta, that's pretty typical weather for the winter. And tried to hit the remote start, and this is what I got. Yeah, she's not too happy. So it is not starting. It's continuing to try. The remote start system will try a few times to get it to start and then give up. Definitely got an issue. I thought this would be a good quick one. Just kind of give you guys some tips because there's a lot of confusion still out there on the net. You know, my car's not starting, it needs a starter, or my car won't start, is it the alternator? You know, all that stuff sounds far-fetched, but I see these posts a lot. So I thought I'd just kind of give you a quick rundown of how I would go about it. Let's go ahead and get in the truck. It does have some power, and that's what some people don't understand too. They'll say, oh, well, I have good accessory power, but you know, it won't start, so it can't be the battery. And well, it takes a lot more energy to start a vehicle than it does to run some lights and your radio. So let me just get the key in real quick. All right, so on my Tundra, it actually does have a battery gauge, which is nice. It is a little bit low. It's not super low. You know, if it was at 9 volts or something, I'd immediately say, oh yeah, it's definitely the battery. But let's go through a little bit of diagnosis here. We'll verify up at the battery as well. All right, so we got the battery in the Tundra is located on the driver's side, right in front. This is a True Start Toyota factory battery or factory replacement. So underneath the hood of the Tundra, the battery is located right here at the front. You see I've got a Toyota replacement battery, 84-month warranty. One of the reasons I really suspect it's just the battery is the problem. When I put an alternator on this maybe 2 years ago, I mean, it could be bad, but I think that's probably fine. But this battery is 5 years old, and nowadays 5 years is pretty standard replacement time for a battery. Some get a little more, some get a little less. So, you know, we definitely want to test this just a little bit further, verify that yes, it is just a low voltage issue, that we don't have bad connection and not a lot of green corrosion. And you see it looks pretty tidy there. Connection's nice and tight, negative's nice and tight. It's, you know, not super clean, but I don't think that's the problem. Let's get a voltmeter and let's see what the battery is telling us. All right, so now that we know we've got good connection, it's not overly corroded, let's go ahead and test what our voltage is. And just put the negative on the negative. You want to be on voltage on the multimeter, and hopefully you guys can see it. And we're at 11.4 volts. So again, not stupid low, but not enough to actually get this thing to crank over and start. So optimally, you want to be over 12 volts at rest, 13.5 to 14 volts while it's running. Again, pointing to probably just a bad battery. It certainly also could have a draw. I did just put in a different stereo system that could be sucking the power down. But honestly, in the last 5 weeks, I've driven this once and been battling kind of a slow start when it sits for a long time. So it really does point to it's just battery. And like I said, it's 5 years old. So let's go ahead and get a boost pack on her and see if we can get it started up. All right, so I got our little Noka boost pack. This is the GB40. It's a nice little pack. I think I'm probably gonna end up getting a bigger one because this does kind of suck down kind of fast, but should be enough to get her to start. So let's hit the remote start and see if she barks off. Once she quiets down a little bit, we'll head back in there. We'll just check running voltage. I'm gonna go ahead and take that boost pack off, make sure that it stays running, because it could be running just off the boost pack if the alternator's not putting out. So if I take that off, it should stay running. And yeah, she's still running, so more than likely it is the alternator's putting out. We can go up there and just check voltage real quick. Let's get our negative back in. Ideally, we should be 13.5 to 14 volts. Yep, 13.94, so we are charging. So that's pretty much how I would attack a sort of crank or slow crank, no start. Verify battery voltage, see if it takes a boost. If you have known history on the battery that it's old, more than three or 4 years, you probably need a battery. Next step, we could go up to AutoZone, Advanced Auto, O'Reilly's, whatever your favorite parts store is. They do free battery tests and charging system tests. They can verify that the alternator's putting out, that the battery is in good health, or what state the battery is in. Again, I think I'm going to skip that just because, well, pretty much know that this thing's been giving me some trouble over the last few months. If it sits too long, it'll slow crank. You certainly could do a parasitic draw test too to make sure that there is nothing going on that's sucking the battery down. But again, this being 5 years old, more than likely is just an old battery. We are going to go ahead and pop that battery out, take it down to Toyota, and get another new battery. So now you got all kinds of options out there. All right, let me shut that down so you guys can hear me. You do have all kinds of options out there for batteries, guys. Shop around. You never know. I looked at AutoZone, Advance. They were both the same price, $215 or so for a 3-year battery plus your core. I called up Toyota, and they quoted me $180 for a 7-year warranty battery. So 4 more years, it's $35 less. I'm just gonna go get a Toyota battery. Don't be afraid to call the dealer. I know they get a bad rap, and people call them a stealership, and sometimes that is well earned. But shop around. Sometimes they are the better deal. So I'm gonna wrap this up here, guys. We're gonna go down, get a new battery, stab her in, and the Tundra should be back ready to do Tundra things. Well, we are back from the dealer, getting our new battery in. It's actually been a couple days. Been driving around since we got it repaired. So just want to show, to get another Toyota True Start, 84-month warranty. So I got 7 more years out of this battery. Also had them replace the hold down bracket and the J-hooks hardware. Mine were getting pretty crusty. Like I said, this is a Buffalo, New York truck, and there's some crustiness on this. So I replace things when I can, but see, everything's all in place, ready to go. So I mentioned the reason I went to the Toyota dealer to get this replaced, and AutoZone and Advance both wanted $215 plus core plus tax for just a 3-year battery. And Toyota quoted me $185 for the battery, and that's a 7-year warranty. So, it's $30 cheaper and 4 more years warranty. So it was a no-brainer. And then when I found my paperwork and saw that this was, well, it was 5 years old, I still had 2 years of battery warranty on it, I decided, yes, the Toyota was going to get my business. So unfortunately, the plan didn't work quite as well as I thought. Initially, I'd just taken the battery out. We drove down to Toyota and tried to get it exchanged over the counter. I bought the battery over the counter. That's all I ever had to do at a parts store, and apparently that's not the case. So they do need the truck. They pulled it in, verified that yes, indeed the battery was bad, and replaced it under warranty. They did charge me $20 to test it and install the new battery, but they did put that hardware in for me as well. And all in all, it came out to be $225 with tax. So just a little bit more than what it would have been if I went to a parts store, bought the thing over the counter. But I also got the battery hold down, all that hardware. That was about 40 bucks in parts. So in my mind, it was still worth it. Took a little bit more time out of the day than just, you know, maybe popping it out and going to the parts store. But it is what it is. It's done. And now I got 7 years warranty left on this brand new battery. So I think it was a win overall. Just to recap some of the misconceptions that I talked about at the beginning of the video. I see a lot of people posting, especially in the cold weather, oh, I went out and my car won't crank, it won't start. Do I need a starter? And the answer to that is maybe. The first thing to check is what we did is what is the battery voltage, and we were a little light on the battery voltage, so that was a good indicator that it may be the battery. If we had a bad alternator and it wasn't charging properly as we were driving, we would have been depleting the battery, and the next time we went to drive the vehicle, it may not have enough juice to actually start the truck. So the next step was we verified that the alternator was charging, and it was. So that pretty much gave us a hint that yes, it was indeed the 5-year-old battery, which I had suspected. And they load tested it at the dealership, and of course it came up light, and they replaced it. So another misconception was I see a lot of people misusing the term turn over, as in my engine won't turn over. And I'll see people posting that, hey, my engine cranks but won't turn over. And they're using that to describe the fact that the vehicle's not starting. But they have that actually wrong. If the engine is cranking, it is literally turning over. You're talking about what the crankshaft is doing. It is turning. So I do see that a lot. People posting that my car cranks but won't turn over. And then they'll follow up, do I need a starter? Well, if the car is cranking, and assuming it's cranking at speed, then no, the starter is doing its job. All the starter is there to do is to crank the engine. From there, everything else kicks in: fuel, timing, compression, spark. All those things then take over to get the vehicle to actually run. I hope this helps you guys. I know we didn't do a battery load test or anything like that on the truck, but hopefully I give you guys some good tips that when you encounter this, especially in the colder season, more than likely you're going to need a battery. It's a lot harder to turn over a cold engine in cold temps. Here, I'll just show you. She is starting up real nice now. Doesn't that sound much better? This fires right up. All right, we'll shut her down so you guys can hear me. As far as the other cars, I mentioned in the last video, the 330, we are doing the turbo build. I got, you know, parts stacked up over here. I got parts stacked up behind the M3. We do have some maintenance to do on the M3, which is part of what's in here. There's rotors and brakes and stuff that we need to get done on the M3. I need to fix my bat wings on the convertible top. I do have a new set. Just with the arm, it's been pretty difficult to get that done. And then we have a lot of parts that I need to get rid of. But again, that's just going to come as this arm continues to heal. A lot of the stuff is pretty heavy. I also need to get some new autocross tires. Show well up on camera, but they are spanked. I might get one more vent out of them, but they're pretty well spanked. And I got a whole other set of tires that I need to sell. Wanted to ask you guys, are you interested in me doing a live stream? I think we'll do like a little wrench fest, some light wrenching that I can do here in the garage with you guys, and you can ask questions. So let me know. I'll put a community post out there too, see if you guys think. All right, enough of rambling, Rob. I'm gonna end this one here. I appreciate you all watching, and we will see you soon on the next one.